My K9 has taken down armed suspects without hesitation. But one night he froze, completely locked up, and refused to enter a room. And the worst part? When I looked down that hallway, I saw exactly what he was afraid of. I've been working K9 for close to a decade now. You spend that much time with a dog, you learn how they think, how they react under pressure. My partner, Rex, is a 4-year-old German Shepherd. Solid nerves, no hesitation, trained in tracking and narcotics. He's the kind of dog you trust more than your own instincts. We've cleared abandoned buildings, searched through dense woods at night, and handled situations that would make most people back off. Rex never did. Not once. Until that night. We got called in to assist patrol after a foot pursuit. Suspect took off a few blocks away, cut through backyards, then just disappeared. Officers tracked him as far as a residential property where things got weird fast. The side gate was open and the back door to the house wasn't locked. Neighbors reported hearing some kind of struggle in the yard just minutes before units arrived. Patrol cleared the first floor but didn't feel good about it. You know that feeling, when something's off but you can't explain why. They figured the suspect might still be inside, hiding somewhere they hadn't caught yet. That's where we came in. Rex and I rolled up about 20 minutes later. Quiet neighborhood, nothing out of place from the outside. 2-story home, no visible forced entry up front. Just stillness. I clipped Rex onto a short lead and gave him the command. He went in without hesitation. We cleared the first floor quick. Living room, nothing. Kitchen clear. Laundry, clear. Rex was focused, moving with purpose, nose working constantly. No signs of a struggle, no movement, no sound. So we headed upstairs. The second floor had a narrow hallway, 3 bedrooms and a bathroom at the end. The air up there felt heavy. No airflow. Windows shut tight. Just stale, unmoving air. We checked the first bedroom. Empty. Second bedroom. Same thing. Then Rex started pulling toward the bathroom. I followed him in. Small space. Clean. Too clean, honestly. Nothing out of place. He started sniffing around, floor, sink, edges of the vanity. And then, he stopped. Completely froze. His ears went up, body stiff, low growl building in his chest. That wasn't normal. Rex doesn't hesitate. Something's there, he engages. But this was different. He wasn't looking inside the bathroom anymore. He was staring out into the hallway. The growl turned into sharp, aggressive barks. Not alert barks, warning barks. I stepped backward, guiding him out of the bathroom. What is it? I muttered under my breath. That's when I saw it. At the far end of the hallway, near the last bedroom door, there was someone standing there. Tall. Completely still. No movement at all. And something about the way they stood just wasn't right. I immediately identified myself. Police. K9 unit. Show me your hands. Nothing. No response. No movement. Rex started pulling backward hard. I mean really pulling, like he wanted out of there. I'd never seen him do that before. Not even with armed suspects. I asked again, louder this time. Who is that? Still nothing. Then slowly, the figure turned and walked into the bedroom at the end of the hall. My heart rate spiked instantly. I knew every officer on that scene. Nobody else was upstairs. I radioed it in. Possible suspect, end of hallway bedroom. Moving in. I tried to push forward. Rex planted his feet. He would not go. I pulled harder, trying to guide him, but he resisted the entire way. He kept looking back at me like I was making a mistake. Like he knew something I didn't. By the time we reached the bedroom door, he refused completely. Wouldn't cross the threshold. So I went in first. Weapon up. Slow step. Cleared left. Cleared right. Nothing. The room was empty. Just a bed against the wall and a dresser across from it. No movement. No sound. No one hiding. Window closed. Closet empty. No way in. No way out. Backup came upstairs a few seconds later and we cleared it again. Thoroughly this time. Every inch. Under the bed, inside the walls, bathroom, attic access. Nothing. But Rex? He stayed in the hallway. Wouldn't step foot inside. One of the other officers tried coaxing him in. No chance. He just stood there, staring into the room, low growl rumbling in his chest. That got to me. Because dogs don't fake that. After about 20 minutes of searching, I called it. Told them I was taking Rex outside. As we walked away, he kept glancing back at that room. like something was still there. The moment we stepped outside into the night air, his entire posture changed. Not fully relaxed, but better. Less tense. Back in his crate, he curled up immediately. Didn't even look at me. That stuck with me. Because after every search he usually does. Patrol wrapped things up shortly after. No suspect found. No explanation. I've replayed that moment more times than I can count. Part of me thinks it was a real person, the suspect somehow slipping past us. But that doesn't explain Rex. That dog has gone into far worse situations without hesitation. But that room? He wouldn't go near it. And I trust that dog more than I trust my own eyes. Every cop I know has at least one call they can't explain. That one was mine. But what happened next on another call wasn't just unexplainable. It was real. And it made me realize, sometimes the worst things aren't hiding in the dark. They're living right in front of you. If you've ever worked nights as a cop, you already know. Most calls blend together. Traffic stops, noise complaints, the occasional drunk driver. Nothing crazy. You learn the rhythm, and after a while, it almost feels routine. That's exactly how it was for me. I joined the force when I was 21. Small, quiet town. Nothing big ever really happened there, which is probably why they stuck me on night shift right away. 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. Most guys hated it. Me, I didn't mind. I've always been more of a night person anyway. Less chaos, less people, more time to just think. Or at least, that's what I thought. Because after about a year on the job, one call changed everything. It started with a storm. A bad one. Heavy rain, thunder cracking overhead, power outages all across town. Roads flooding, visibility dropping. Just one of those nights where everything feels off. I had parked my cruiser in a lot near the center of town, waiting for accident calls to start coming in. It was around 2 a.m. when dispatch came over the radio. Claire. Her voice sounded different. Tense. Unit 12, we just received a 911 call. Male caller claimed he's been kidnapped. That got my full attention. She continued, caller stated he's being held inside a residence. Then the line disconnected. My screen lit up with the address. 10 minutes away. I grabbed the radio. Unit 12 responding. Requesting backup. Another officer, Chris, chimed in right after me. Rookie like me but solid. I'm 5 out. Claire came back on, but this time she hesitated. You could hear the static, then her voice again, lower. There's something else, the caller. She paused again. He didn't sound normal. I frowned. What do you mean? It sounded like he was altering his voice. Almost like a child. Like a young girl. That didn't make sense. Adult male, but sounding like a kid? Proceed with caution, she added. Yeah, no kidding. When I pulled into the neighborhood, the first thing I noticed was the darkness. Every street light was out. No porch lights. No glow from windows. Just pitch black streets and rain hitting the pavement. Chris was already there, his cruiser idling in front of the house. I pulled up beside him and rolled my window down. What do you think? I asked. He shook his head, staring at the place. This house, man, it's bad. I looked up. He wasn't wrong. The place looked abandoned. Grass was overgrown, bushes covering the windows, roof half damaged. The kind of house people avoid. Immediately, something felt off. We stepped out into the rain and walked up to the front door. Chris had his flashlight up, scanning everything. I knocked. Nothing. Then again louder. Footsteps. Slow. Dragging. They came right up to the door and stopped. Whoever was inside didn't open it. Didn't speak. Just stood there. Watching. I felt it. That uncomfortable feeling crawling up your spine when you know someone's on the other side. Just waiting. My eyes drifted to the peephole. And right as I looked, something moved behind it. Quick. Like whoever was there pulled back fast. If you're inside, open the door. Police. A few seconds passed. Then the lock clicked. The door creaked open. Just a little. A man peeked out. Early 30s. Overweight. Glasses. Pale. But his eyes? Something wasn't right. I told him about the call. Kidnapping. His address. He blinked a couple times, then gave this awkward laugh. Must have been a mistake. Probably a pocket dial. Yeah. Right. And the voice? I asked. He hesitated. Just for a second. Then shrugged. No idea what you're talking about. That was enough for me. Anyone else in the house? No. I live alone. I nodded slowly. All right. For safety reasons, we're going to need to come inside. His face tightened. Not without a warrant. Fair enough. I stepped back, called it in. 5 minutes later, we had one. When I showed him, his hands started shaking. That told me everything I needed to know. The second I stepped inside, the smell hit me. Rotten. Sour. Heavy. Chris stayed on the guy while I moved forward. Living room to the right. I shined my light in. And yet, it was bad. Trash everywhere. Dirty dishes stacked. Bugs crawling across everything. This wasn't just messy. This was something else. Then I turned toward the hallway. And that's when I saw it. Toy. Big. A Barbie playset. I froze for a second. Because I recognized it. I bought the exact same one for my daughter. Got kids? I asked. He shook his head quickly. No, just nieces visit sometimes. Chris and I exchanged a look. No kid should be anywhere near this place. Something wasn't adding up. At all. I moved down the hallway. First room, clear. Second room. That's where things got weird. At first, I thought someone was sitting in the corner. I drew my weapon instantly. Then realized it was a doll. But not a normal one. This thing was huge. Almost human-sized. Slumped in a rocking chair. Dressed in women's clothes. Neatly folded clothes on the bed beside it. Perfectly organized. While the rest of the house was complete chaos. That contrast? It didn't sit right with me. At all. All clear, I said, stepping back out. But now my instincts were screaming. At the end of the hall. A closed door. Basement. I asked. Nothing down there, the man said quickly. Too quickly. I grabbed the handle. Behind me, I heard Chris raise his voice. Stay where you are. The guy was trying to follow me. That told me everything. I opened the door. Dark stairs going down. Pitch black. Then, a sound. Faint. Rattling. Coming from below. My grip tightened on my weapon. I hear movement, I said. The man started apologizing behind me. Over and over. Please don't go down there, please? Yeah, that wasn't happening. Each step creaked as I went down. The deeper I got, the louder that sound became. At the bottom. Boxes everywhere. Old furniture. Clutter. And across the room. Another door. The sound was coming from there. I raised my weapon. Police. Come out with your hands up. Silence. I moved closer. Heart pounding. Every step felt heavier. I reached the door. Paused. Then. Grabbed the handle. Opened it. And aimed inside. What I saw in that room. I won't go into full detail. But I'll say this. There was a man inside. Alive. Barely. He had been held there. For a long time. Long enough that people thought he was dead. Turns out. Earlier that night he got lucky. His captor left a phone behind. He used voice command to call 911. That was the call we got. But when we arrived, he was already restrained again. Too scared to make noise. Too scared to move. That's why he didn't respond when I called out. He thought I might mistake him for a threat. We got him out. Arrested the homeowner immediately. Ambulance took the victim. He survived. But there's one thing. I still can't shake. Claire said the caller sounded like a child. Not just scared. Not whispering. Actually sounding like a young girl. And the only explanation that makes sense is, he'd been forced to talk like that for so long that it became normal. And if that was normal for him, what else was? I thought that was the worst call I'd ever get, but I was wrong. Because the next one started with a simple 911 hang-up and ended with a house that should have been empty. If you work enough night shifts, you start to notice a pattern. Most calls? They're predictable. Domestic disputes. Noise complaints. Drunk drivers. You show up, handle it, write your report, and move on. But every now and then, you get a call that sticks. The kind that doesn't leave you. This was one of those. It was late October. Around 2:40 in the morning. Dispatch toned me out for a 911 hang-up. The caller reported hearing a woman screaming inside the house next door, but by the time they called it in, everything had gone quiet. That alone was enough to take seriously. I was about 5 minutes out. When I pulled onto the street, it was dead silent. No movement. No lights on in most of the houses. Just a light rain falling, reflecting off the pavement under the streetlights. The house in question sat halfway down the block. 2 stories. Small front porch. From the outside, it looked normal. But something felt off the second I stepped out of the cruiser. I approached on foot. That's when I saw it. The front door. Slightly open. Not wide. Just enough. Enough to know something wasn't right. I keyed up my radio. Dispatch, I'm on scene. Front doors open. Start another unit. Backup was at least 10 minutes out. So yeah, I was alone. I stepped onto the porch and listened. Nothing. Just rain. I knocked on the door frame. Police department. No response. Knocked again. Louder. Still nothing. At that point, with a report of screaming and an open door, I didn't have a choice. I pushed the door open and stepped inside. The house was quiet. Too quiet. Living room straight ahead. Everything looked normal. Clean. No signs of forced entry, no overturned furniture, nothing broken. That almost made it worse. Because if someone had been screaming, where were they? I cleared the living room first, then moved toward the kitchen. Dishes in the sink. A glass of water on the table. That detail stuck with me. Someone had been there recently. Police department. If anyone's here, speak up. My voice echoed through the house. No answer. But I could feel it. That same feeling. Like you're not alone. I moved down the hallway. Bathroom on the right, clear. Guest room on the left, clear. At the end of the hall. Stairs leading up. And right as I stepped onto the first stair, I heard it. A faint sound. From upstairs. Like something shifting. A foot dragging lightly across carpet. I froze. Listen. Nothing. I drew my weapon and started moving up slowly. Step by step. At the top. 3 doors. 2 closed. 1 slightly open at the end. And from that direction, I heard it again. Soft movement. Police. Show me your hands. No response. I moved toward the open door and pushed it wider with my foot. Bedroom. Bed messy. Sheets hanging off. Lamp knocked over on the floor. That was the first sign something was wrong. I cleared the room, closet, under the bed, corners. Nothing. Window closed. Locked. No way in. No way out. That's when the unease really kicked in. Because now, nothing was making sense. Second room. Kid's bedroom. Toys scattered. Posters on the wall. Empty. Then the last door. Bathroom. As I stepped closer, I noticed something on the carpet. Dark. At first I thought it was a shadow. Then I crouched down. Touched it. Blood. Fresh. My heart rate spiked instantly. I radioed it in. Confirmed blood upstairs. Expedite backup. Now it wasn't just a check. Something had happened here. I pushed the bathroom door open. Lights on. And there it was. More blood. On the tile. Leading toward the tub. I pulled the shower curtain back. Empty. But the blood near the drain told a different story. Like someone had been standing there. Bleeding. A lot. And yet, no body. That's when it hit me. I was in a house where something violent had just happened. And whoever was responsible might still be inside. I backed out slowly. Started clearing again. More careful this time. More aware. And that's when I heard it. A creak. From downstairs. I froze. That shouldn't have happened. I had already cleared the first floor. Slowly I turned and moved back toward the stairs. Every step down felt heavier than the last. I reached the bottom. Cleared the living room again. Kitchen again. Nothing. Then I saw it. A door near the refrigerator. Slightly open. I was sure it had been closed before. I approached it slowly. Pushed it open. And realized it wasn't a pantry. It was a basement. I flipped the light switch. Nothing. Pitch black. I radioed it in. Going basement. No way I was staying upstairs while someone might be moving below me. I started down. Concrete floor. Exposed beams. Boxes stacked along the walls. And right in the middle, a chair. Metal. With zip ties on the armrest. Cut. And beneath it, a large pool of blood. Way more than upstairs. That confirmed it. Someone had been held there. Then, movement. In the corner. A figure. It bolted. Fast. I yelled, "Stop," and went after them. They moved toward the back of the basement, where a small window sat near the ceiling. I heard glass shatter. By the time I reached it, they were already halfway through. I climbed out after them, cutting my hand on broken glass. Outside, rain pouring. I caught a glimpse. A dark figure running toward the alley. I chased. But once they turned the corner, they were gone. Backup arrived minutes later. We locked the area down. Canines searched. Detectives came out. But we never found that person. The house belonged to a man who lived alone. We found his wallet upstairs. His phone in the kitchen. Blood matched him. But not enough to confirm he died. He was never found. And the woman the neighbor said she heard screaming? We never identified her. No record. No connection. Nothing. Sometimes I think, I walked in too late. Or maybe, I interrupted something. Now, every once in a while, I still drive past that house. New family lives there. Kids playing outside. Bikes in the driveway. Normal. Completely normal. But I know what that place looked like that night. And I know, something happened there. Something that was never solved. Because the truth is, the scariest calls aren't the ones where everything goes wrong. It's the ones where nothing makes sense. And if there's one thing I've learned working nights, it's this: sometimes you don't find the danger. Sometimes it finds you first.